came down here because I was getting really frustrated just sort of sitting in Minnesota and hearing about all the stuff that was happening. I discussed it with my husband, and we sort of likened it to Hurricane Katrina, where you feel like there's this great tragedy unfolding and you just feel helpless. But in this case, I wasn't helpless. I could come down here and try and make some sort of difference.
In order to actually do something and be effective, I needed to see it and I needed to take part in the action.
I've had a tremendous array of experiences. I would say everything from just tragically sad to extremely joyful. Just the fact that these women are having someone talk to them and giving them some ray of hope has been clearly very uplifting for them. The question now is resources and how we're going to be able to carry out some of the expectations that have been raised, because right now we're having a lot of conflicts related to things like bonds and custody release and things like that, even for people who've had credible fears. But the most rewarding part, in addition to just working directly with these women, has definitely been the team of volunteers. It's an extremely committed and energetic group, and it's been a joy to work with all the people down here.
Since I've been down here, we have been dealing with communication with ICE officers, screening clients for potential violations, any kind of due process violations, also understanding where they are in the process, educating them of their right to have an attorney, really doing a lot of triage, because there's a lot of cases and folks that have gone through the process and haven't been informed of their right to an attorney, and then trying to figure out a way that we can keep them here long enough so they can have a voice.
I like to think that I'm cynical and that I've seen everything, but you haven't seen everything until you've been to Artesia. And in many ways, it is literally a rolling refugee camp scenario. And so to see these women, to think even for, I'm going to pull a Ledley and start crying, to think about what they've endured to get here, and then to see them, carrying these sick babies all over with them, because there are no facilities for childcare, there's no school, the children are expected to be with their mothers at all times, and then to have them endure this process, again, where many of them, have passed a credible fear interview, and then ICE is determining no bond. It just shocks the conscience.
It's a great opportunity, and also the amount of just being in the trenches, especially as a young attorney, is a wonderful experience, because you get exposed to things that you probably wouldn't get exposed to for a couple of years. Different, especially asylum law, is so complex, and we're just thrown in. We're like, all right, so what are we doing today? What arguments can we make that are persuasive? So yeah, I think it's been a wonderful, wonderful experience. I think anybody who really wants to help that can help on the backside, we have to prepare these asylum cases in like weeks, right? And these bond hearings are going to end up being like merits hearings now. So if we had folks that are on the outside that could do country conditions research for us, that can pull good case law for us for our arguments, so that we can spend and devote our time to dealing with these clients, and then on the back time we can put all this research together, and also devote your time to come here. I don't know if you can legitimately say this is such a crazy human rights violation unless you've seen it. You have to see it, you have to experience it, and then you will be able to contribute more accordingly. I think one of the things we can't tell people they have a right to an attorney, and then there's no attorneys here, right? What good does that do to inform people of a right and not have a mechanism to provide them with that? So those are the two things. I think AILA definitely, all chapters should support members and allow them to come down here. It's expensive. Please contribute to funding.
I think, ideally, I would love to see even a chapter-by-chapter commitment to do a solid week at a time at Artesia. I think right now we're struggling with this initial burst of energy and a lot of people who are trying to put systems in place very quickly, and concerns about who's going to lead the team as we transition, and again, as lawyers are sort of rotating in and out. People have been here for as little as 5 days and as long as 12, and so it's a constantly moving mix of attorneys on the ground. So if chapters would possibly step up and do even a week at a time amongst their chapter members, alternatively, if they would donate, and we need to figure out a way to make it feasible for solo smalls in particular to come down here and be able to live and take time off from work to be in Artesia. And if you can't come, and you can't donate money, donate your time, and you can do that by being a mentor from your home office.